Circus Master. Prologue. Darkness. Ka-chunk. A single spotlight illuminates in the circus ring. A Pierrot clown, head down, stands, still and steady in the flood of light. There are some sobs from the stands. Somewhere in the distance a woman screams. Quiet! Her voice resonates through the tent. The cries fall silent in an instant. Then her head raises, bright red eyes looking over her audience. She smirks softly and begins to dance, slowly, elegantly, twirling and twisting in an inhuman way. Her head rotates in an owl-like manner, and she stops, body almost a full half-turn ahead of her head. She giggles and twists back. Today we have a special treat for you all, she breathes in a loud whisper. Today marks our 10-year anniversary, and our master, Beelzebub, has graced us with his presence. There's a cheer from the audience as a figure amongst them rises. He tips a black top hat, spins, red coattails swaying, and bows, low and deep. Today we'll be reenacting our glorious victory. One gloved hand stretches out and a spotlight comes on to her left. A group of black-hooded humans stand, tears tracking down their cheeks. They are unwilling to be there, but some force keeps them in place. Yuri Ibarra stands amongst them, unafraid. He rolls his shoulders, shifts his weight between his feet, readying himself for something. Now let's hear it for our demons. There are cheers, applause. Yuri's eyes narrow in annoyance as he glares towards the audience. Her other hand reaches out and the spotlight to her right clunks on. Another group of humans, dressed normally this time, and our hunters. A loud boo reverberates from the audience. Then, suddenly, a woman breaks free from the group and runs. The demon clown gives a loud, exasperated sigh as she watches. She lets her make it all the way to the door, then... Stop. The human suddenly freezes, as still as a statue, mid-run, unable to move further. Her eyes dart around wildly and a single tear runs down her cheek. Her breaths come out in sharp, gagging gasps. Return to your position. The woman turns, as if being controlled by unseen strings. A wooden puppet. She marches back to her original spot amongst the other humans. It's as if her body and her mind are running on two different wavelengths. Yuri rolls his eyes, stretches out his arm, jogs gently in place. The demon turns from the woman to look at him, smirking again before facing her audience yet again. Now who won the real battle? The black shadows within the audience grumble. Us. Of course. How could mortals beat immortals? Impossible. But where's the fun in knowing the outcome? She steps to one side to reveal, beyond her, a large pile of weapons. There's everything from axes to shurikens to shotguns. Who doesn't love a good deathmatch? She giggles again. Fair fight. Last one alive gets to stay that way, until we next have use for them, of course. Are you ready, mortals? No one answers. Yuri positions himself towards the weapon pile, eyes narrowing on a warhammer. All right. The demon twirls away from the centre of the tent, coming to a stop near the stands, the spotlight following her every move. And... begin. The humans charge, Yuri ahead of all of them, pushing himself as hard as he can in this crucial moment. Only a few seconds in and he has his hands on his craved warhammer. The next person to the pile gets a nasty surprise as the muscular man turns and swings. It's as if seeing it in slow motion. The man he attacks only registers the incoming doom as it is less than an inch from his face. His expression changes from determination to horror, then bang. His skull is caved in and his nose goes so far into his head that it is obvious he dies on impact. Yuri spins, just in time to see the woman who had ran, shotgun in hand, pointed up into her own skull. Bang! A spray of blood hits Yuri directly in the face, bits of brain matter now coating the other weapons. He shrugs it off, wipes the dampness from his face with one hand and grips his warhammer. He turns, and bang! This time it's the chest, breastbone crushing the heart in one heavy blow. Another one picks up a throwing knife, aims it, gets it directly in another man's eye. The man drops to his knees, screaming in agony, then, bang! Yuri ends his suffering with another blow of his warhammer. He turns, looks towards the guy with the throwing knife. The poor man turns to run but is too slow. Yuri picks up a shield and uses it like a frisbee, tripping the man before he can make it 3 steps. Then Yuri's hammer smashes his face into the soil and his head explodes like a watermelon. Up in the stands, Beelzebub climbs to his feet amongst the cheering shadow demons, clapping his hands and smiling widely. The circus master can't even begin to hide his glee at the gory chaos. His grin stretches from ear to ear. Back in the ring, Yuri watches as a woman knocks a bow, aims and looses it towards another man. The arrow sails past him, instead hitting a human amongst the audience straight through the shoulder. The poor fellow shrieks, deafeningly, again and again, until the shadow demon beside him turns, pulls the arrow from his shoulder and jabs it directly into his throat. The man's eyes widen as he chokes on his own blood for a few seconds before slumping in his seat. Yuri watches the lucky man, the one who had been missed, level a pistol at him. Yuri could tell, just by looking at his shaking hands, that this man had never shot a gun in his life. This is why he always told them in the cages outside that a ranged weapon isn't a good choice unless the person is directly in front of you and you can't miss. He suddenly swoops down and serpentines towards the man who tries to follow, firing 3 times before Yuri reaches him. Just like the others, this man is not long for the world when Yuri has his sights on him. Bang, dead, just like that. Yuri breathes hard, turning to see the final opposer, the woman who had the bow, racing towards the pile of weapons again. He sighs, slumps his shoulders, and gives himself a moment before giving chase. She reaches the pile, draws a greatsword and lifts it above her head as Yuri's hammer comes down, just able to block it. Her arms quiver under the weight and she pants, groaning as she attempts to shove him off. Yuri relents, pulls back, readying to swing again as she suddenly gets her slash in first. Barely able to hold the sword higher, the blow comes across Yuri's thigh, cutting open a decent-sized gash. Yuri yells out in pain, drops to one knee and she swings again. He drops back and brings up his warhammer to block. Tears run down the girl's cheeks. "I'm sorry," she whimpers. "I don't want to do this." Yuri sighs deeply. "I know." Then, with fast reflexes, he twists, pulls his warhammer free of her sword and smashes her directly in the face. The crowd goes wild. Yuri pants hard, kneeling in the dirt. The girl's blood seeps into the leg of his robes and he looks down at the redness spreading across the ground. "Did we expect anything less?" says the demon woman, spinning towards him. "Our 4-time champion human, Yuri." This elicits a standing ovation. Yuri doesn't look up, unable to draw his eyes away from the thick liquid. His eyes well up furiously, and he slams his hammer into the ground beside him. Done. For today.